Hi everyone, it's Mr. Weimann, and I have for you today a story that I wrote several years ago. And this story is the perfect example of revision because I have edited and revised this story at least 100 times. I wrote it probably 10 years ago, and the idea just came to me. I think it came to me as I was teaching place value, because in numbers, and this is what the story is all about, the symbolism of the story, in numbers, what does a zero mean? You might think of a zero as a nothing, but it's not a nothing. It holds a place within a number. The number 100 might seem like a big number, but if you take it apart, you've got a few zeros in there with a 1 at the beginning. I came up with this idea of a character representing zeros, and that's where Nero came from. Okay, and Nero rhymes with zero. That's the whole idea of this story. Or can you think of another rhyming word that ends with the sound ero? Hero. By the end of the story, Nero becomes a hero. Now I'm telling you the answer to this question. How does Nero change throughout the story? Well, at the end he might be a hero, but how does that happen? What I want you to do today is I want you to listen to me read the story. You can go back and you can reread text from the story. I want you to use information from Nero the Zero to answer this question and talk about how Nero changes. In order to help you today answer this question, how does Nero change, I put in this slideshow an image of a story plot, okay, or the how to plot a story, how to take a story and identify its parts, right? So how do stories work? Well, there's always a beginning, obviously. And in the beginning, you meet the setting, you meet the characters, you're introduced to the setting, and as the story progresses, it goes up, just like this roller coaster shows. It goes up and it rises in action. So things happen, okay? And at this point, a problem either begins or is identified. So you learn about the problem. And at the beginning of Nero the Zero, you find out that he's always just felt like a nobody. Like nobody notices him at all. And then, toward the middle of the story, it comes to a climax where something has to happen. This whole zero business is like, it's gotta end. And how does it end? Well, as you experience the story, you'll learn zero isn't all bad. What are those things? What happens throughout the story? And then this part of the roller coaster, the falling action, is where a character, things start to happen that resolve the problem or fix the problem. And in Nero's case, he starts to become aware of some potential good qualities of being a zero, or being himself. So what happens throughout the story that helps that come to fruition or come to its end, its resolution? Things should get tied up nice and neat. I talked to you about having closing sentences to wrap up your paragraphs. To wrap something up means to tie it all up nice and neatly so that everything is finalized. What is he like at the very end, and what throughout the story gets him to that place? Okay, how does Nero become a hero? It may not be what you think it is. It would be inaccurate to say that Nero was ignored. You have to first be noticed before someone takes the action of not giving you attention. Nero was invisible. Not literally. It seemed like no one even knew he existed. He may as well be a zero. In fact, that is how he saw himself. Nero the Zero. As you can see, I began illustrating this story, and I haven't gotten all that far. See the shape of Nero. What's he shaped like? Here's a reflection of him in the lunchbox. This changed one fateful day when Nero was in 3rd grade. His class was going on a field trip to Disney World. "Did you forget your lunch?" Nero asked a girl in front of him. Everyone was waiting to board the bus. "Oh no," the girl exclaimed. "I must have left it in the room." "I could save your place in line," Nero offered. "You would do that? You are so kind." The girl was grateful. Upon her return, she told Nero, "My name is," and here you see the word bubble, "Teresa, but my friends call me 10. Notice you have this girl standing up straight, and you have Nero with his hands in his pocket. And what number do you see reflected on the door of the bus? Once on the bus, Nero surveyed the already packed seats. Where was a 0 to sit? "Come sit with me, Nero," was as much a shock as it was a welcome. The invitation came from a boy sitting in the back of the bus. Nero turned to 10. "Is he talking to us?" "He called your name," said 10. "Go see who it is." "Hi, Nero. I saw you save 10's place in line, and I thought the two of you might need a seat. I hurried to the back of the bus to save this one." "Wow!" 10 was impressed. "That is so thoughtful." "Thank you very much," said Nero. "Would you like to go on some rides together?" "That would be fun. My name is Han." Come to find out, Han dreaded going on the rides. It was only with much persuasion that Nero and 10 got him to join them on the swings. He seemed to enjoy himself. Theo joined the trio on a very scary roller coaster. They all agreed to never do that again, but secretly each hoped someone would suggest it. What do you see in the roller coaster? Instead, Theo suggested the newly formed foursome try out some of the games. There were water pistols, basketballs, and coin tossing stations. Everyone seemed to be lucky, except Nero. He was coming up short in every game. Nero was about to call it quits when he saw something he could relate to. The hoops from the ring toss looked like giant zeros. Rather than throwing a plastic circle, Nero gave it a zesty spin. The ring hovered. It spun. The zero hung, suspended in the air, until all of its energy ran out. Then, plop, it adorned the neck of a bottle in the last row. "Do it again!" 10, Han, and Theo yelled in unison. With people wandering over to watch, Nero took a deep breath. He brought his right hand, holding the giant zero, to the left side of his body. With the same gusto as before, Nero launched his ring. It seemed to move like a flying saucer. Was it choosing the bottle it wanted to land on? The zero found its mark and landed with a gentle clink. Nero had successfully ringed 2 bottles. The last circle went the same way. Then Nero walked away with the biggest prize they had. The audience clapped and cheered. Swoosh! Splash! Nero heard the sound right before feeling the spray of the mighty flume ride. "Let's go on that," he suggested excitedly. "I don't want to get wet," confessed Han. "I'm hungry," said 10, and Theo added, "I can think of 1,000 reasons to avoid the flume." Nero felt deflated. "But," Theo continued, If you want to go on it, go ahead. We can meet up again later to watch a show or something. Nero couldn't believe his ears. He wasn't invisible. He wasn't ignored. He had friends. Yeah, agreed Han. Let's all meet in front of the swinging ship at 2. That sounds perfect. 10 solidified the plan and the group dispersed. Hey Nero, can you help us? Seriously? Nero thought. He had gone from feeling ignored to being sought out. Nero, we need 6 people to fill a flume log. We only have 5, and we don't want to get split up. Some classmates were standing on the platform where riders boarded boats. Not only did Nero make new friends, but he was able to skip waiting in the longest line of the park. The flume ride had always been Nero's favorite, and he was pretty sure this was going to be the biggest splash ever. Notice the illustrations here. Nero has 0 color, but there's color all throughout this image. And in this case, Nero, you really see how Nero is a nothing, but he fills the flume log by sitting in this space, making the number that much larger. And it was. After the flume, Nero decided to ride the biggest 0 in the park, the Ferris wheel. As the giant circle spun, Nero thought about his day. It had begun with saving 10's place in line. Then Han had beckoned they sit with him on the bus. After that, Nero used a 0 to earn the largest prize. Finally, Nero, the 0, filled an empty space on the flume log. And now, Nero knows 0s are important too. That's the end. How did Nero become a hero? Well, he helped out the people in the flume ride, but also he became aware of his own importance. And that's the message, that's the theme of this story. The lesson I want to get across is that no matter who you are, where you are in life, or what position you play, you matter. Nero matters. 0s matter. So this is a math story, a literary lesson, and a life lesson. And I hope that you remember the message of the story, as well as be able to use the symbolism in it, in your own life and in your math problems.